This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, he did it. The great Tom Homan came to Boston and he brought hell with him, as promised. 1 week ago today, last Tuesday, Homan traveled to Boston and kicked off a 5-day operation, which included ICE, FBI, ATF, DEA, and the U.S. Marshals. Obviously, he assembled a great team. It did not include the Boston Police Department. It did not include the Mass State Police or any local entities. They came quietly, of course. They had to do that. They couldn't announce it because then our elected officials, our mayor, all elected officials in Massachusetts, all Democrats, would have done their best to ruin this operation and to protect the people that Homan came to arrest. This seems like a wildly successful operation. It's about time. Decent people, taxpayers, residents of Boston, of Massachusetts, have been dying for him to come here, have been begging for Tom Homan to come here. Unfortunately, Ironhead didn't get to make the lasagna he promised for Homan's guys because we didn't know
he was coming.
We didn't know if we knew we were going to make him a lasagna, make him some brownies, greet them, cheer them, applaud them. They are doing what Trump promised. They're coming to help whether you like it or not. And of course, the mayor doesn't like it. The governor doesn't like it. Senator Liz Warren, Ed Markey, Ayanna Pressley, none of them likes the fact that the federal government, that the border czar is arresting the worst of the worst. I've said it 1,000 times, and I will say it again. It is mind-boggling that the people we elect in this state, in many blue states, are determined to protect violent criminals, rapists, murderers, drug dealers, gang members. That's who they rounded up in the last 5 days. That's who has been removed from the community, and Democrats aren't happy. You really have to read this story. You have to read Tom Homan's post, but you have to see the list, the names, the crimes of the people who are no longer living among us. And keep in mind that the mayor and the governor and all the elected officials wanted to keep them here. They did everything in their power to obstruct Tom Homan and all these federal agents and protect these people. I'm looking at the list right now. It's just incredibly frustrating, infuriating. I know these Democrats are just horrible people. Mayor Wu, horrible, horrible woman. Liz Warren, the worst. But there should be some accountability. Somebody should say, why did you want them here? Why did you say that the feds weren't welcome? Why didn't you applaud them, cooperate with them, help them get these people out of the community? Here it is. Before we get to Homan's post, I'm looking at this. I've been looking at this for the last half hour. Just a partial list. He rounded up 370 illegal alien criminals, said at least 250 of them are among the worst public safety threats to the community. Here's just a few. A Dominican illegal alien wanted for drug distribution, arrested in Boston. Another Dominican arrested for trafficking fentanyl. A Chilean alien convicted of 4 counts of indecent assault on a child under 14, arrested in Marlborough. A Brazilian illegal alien charged with manslaughter, homicide by motor vehicle, homicide while under the influence, breaking and entering with to commit larceny, arrested in Worcester. It just goes on and on. And a Honduran illegal arrested and convicted for rape of a child and failure to register as a sex offender, arrested in Salem. Another Brazilian. Firearms trafficking, another Brazilian. Homicide, wanted for homicide, arrested in Lowell. A Russian charged with unlawful possession of ammunition, wanted for robbery and being a member of a criminal organization. A Dominican wanted for homicide, arrested in Dorchester. Another, a Brazilian, wanted for homicide. Salvadoran, convicted of assault and battery, arrested in Wakefield. Guatemalan, charged with rape and convicted of enticing a minor under the age of 16, arrested in New Bedford. This list goes on and on. There are 250 of these dangerous felons, criminals, and they're off the streets. They're out of the community. They're in detention right now. Some, Holman said, will go to Gitmo. Some may go to El Salvador. Some will go back to their homelands. We're not sure yet. All we know is that the Massachusetts State Police, the Boston Police, the governor, the mayor, all the elected officials are not cooperating. They're not praising this. This is just so mind-boggling. You have the worst people. You have murderers, rapists, drug dealers arrested and taken out of your community. And the people you vote for aren't happy. They wanted to stop this operation. They badmouthed Tom Homan for saying he was coming to Boston and bringing hell. Well, this was his version of hell, taking these monsters off the street, out of the community. And Mayor Wu says, we're not safer now. We were safer before, when that person in line behind you at Dunkin' Donuts was a convicted murderer from Brazilian or a child rapist from Guatemala. They were there. They were in the store, grocery store with you, then CVS. Yes, they were walking the streets just a few days ago. And the mayor and the governor wanted to keep it that way. They wanted to protect these people from Tom Homan, from ICE, ATF, FBI. They wanted to stop this operation. It is just the fact that we don't impeach these people, they indict them, charge them criminally. They are criminals. Mayor Wu is a criminal. Maura Healey is a criminal. They're aiding and abetting this criminal invasion of our country, of our state, of the city of Boston. They are facilitating this. These criminals keep attempting their best to keep them free and on the loose as the feds come in here. And keep in mind, if November 5th had turned out differently, if Donald Trump had lost, if Kamala Harris was now president, all these guys, all 250 of them, all of them would still be free and operating, selling drugs, selling firearms, molesting children in your community. Everyone in this state right now should be thanking Trump, thanking Homan, thanking God that Kamala Harris didn't win, that we finally and at last get to stop this illegal invasion that was facilitated by the traitor who was in the White House for the last 4 years. Here is Tom Homan's post, and he is feisty. He is spicy, as he should be. He says he made a promise that he was going to come to Boston after reading about numerous illegal alien child rapists walking the streets of Boston and Massachusetts. ICE had to find and arrest these illegal alien rapists because Massachusetts and Boston are sanctuaries that refuse to cooperate with ICE. They would rather release these animals back into the community than honor ICE detainers or notify ICE when they're scheduled to be released. Mayor Wu testified that I was lying. Well, I traveled to Boston last Tuesday, and as promised, we kicked off a 5-day operation with ICE, FBI, ATF, DEI, U.S. Marshals. These incredible men and women arrested a total of 2 of 370 illegal aliens in Boston and surrounding areas, a majority of the 370 being significant criminals. And he goes through the list: fugitives wanted for murder, drug trafficking, child sexual predators. These agents made the neighborhoods of Boston and Massachusetts much safer. They risked their own safety by arresting these criminals on the street rather than the jail. Governor Healey and Mayor Wu should be ashamed for supporting these sanctuary policies Releasing public threats back into the public rather than working with ICE at the jails puts the public at risk. President Trump's all-of-government effort to arrest and remove the worst first is making our communities safer. President Trump is a game changer who's keeping his promises. Much more to do, but it will be done. And Holman promised to come back to Boston. And all we can do is hope in the next wave of arrests. He includes Mayor Wu and Maura Healey. And I'm not exaggerating. It's just not a pipe dream. They are criminal. Mayor Wu and Maura Healey are criminals who defended, protected this list of just as animals, as Holman put it, of child predators. They didn't want him coming here. They didn't want him taking these people off your streets. And yet somehow voters, my neighbors, will vote. They will vote for Mayor Wu. Again, they will vote for Ayanna Pressley and Liz Warren, who make your neighborhoods much, much more dangerous. Why? Because they've lost their minds. It doesn't have anything to do with protecting the marginalized communities or any of that nonsense. Or everyone deserves, as Mayor Wu said, everyone deserves shelter and sanctuary. No, they've lost their minds. They hate Trump so much. They're against arresting child rapists. Here's Holman talking about the operation, which I think wrapped up on Saturday. Here he is on Monday talking about the great success that he and his team had in Boston. Go ahead.
Hey, for now, because the actions of ICE took, we arrested 370 illegal aliens in Boston and the surrounding counties, not just Boston. Majority of them were criminals. We had, numerous collateral arrests. And I've said it before in the show, and I'll keep saying it. Collateral arrests are going to be, people who aren't criminals that are found when we're looking for the criminal are going to be taken into custody. That's why we want access to the jail. Let us in the jail, arrest a bad guy in the jail, because we go to the community, we'll find them. Most likely be with others. If they're in the country illegally, they're coming too.
And he's coming back. And they do the scroll. They list the people he was arrested. I'd love to talk to, I know she could never defend this. I'd love to talk to Mayor Wu right now, or Maura Healey. Can you explain to me why you're unhappy with what Holman did, with what ICE did for 5 days in your community? Explain to me why you would prefer they have to go into the neighborhoods, into the apartment buildings and the homes of these monsters, rather than just hand them over at the jail. That list I read to you, almost all of them made bail. Some of them were released on personal recognizance by Democrat judges in Massachusetts. It's just beyond infuriating. We have to wake up, people. We have to wake up. I understand you don't like Trump. I understand you're a Democrat. You were raised a Democrat. You were indoctrinated in high school and college, in this state, in this area. But are you really unhappy that a guy who rapes kids, an illegal alien who rapes children, who committed murder, is no longer free and moving about in your community? Are you really unhappy that this man is doing what he said he was going to do and making your communities safer? I'm hoping, Tom Holman, I know a lot of people are hoping that he arrests these people, arrests Mayor Wu, arrests the woman who is protecting, who is facilitating, who is providing sanctuary to people. That's why these guys are here. They're not here for the seafood. They're not here for the history. They're not here because they like the weather. They're here because of Mayor Wu, because of Liz Warren and Maura Healey. They're here because they know Democrats have lost their minds and decided to protect them from Trump's guys. That's it. That's all. And it's finally, and at last, it is ending, and it is great. And we should all stand and applaud Tom Holman. We should all be thrilled to death that Mayor Wu, and they can't stop him. You can't stop him. He's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's coming back. This is just wave one first operation, 5 days, 370 illegal alien criminals off the street. We are better for it, and you don't have to like it, but it's coming. These people they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. As Kamala Harris famously said, they're not going to stop, and they should not stop. God bless home. All right, we got so much to get to here on this Tuesday. There's a hearing going on right now in D.C. Senate Intel Committee are grilling Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel and John Ratcliffe because Mike Walls screwed up. Yes, Mike Walls is the guy who shared this sensitive chat they had about the attack on the Houthis with, I was going to say journalist. He's not a journalist. Let's make that clear. Mike Walls screwed up. He will survive. Donald Trump has already said he knows he screwed up. He's a good man. He will apologize and he'll never do it again. But I have a question, a big question, the most important question for Mike Walls, for whom I have lost all respect. All respect. He might win me back, but right now I got a big problem with Mike Walls. We will get to that. And they're planting bombs at Tesla dealerships, actual real bombs. The war against Musk has escalated. And we're going to do a couple things. We're going to tell you how the Democrats are encouraging it. And we're going to tell you what Musk is doing to upset these people so much. It's remarkable. They're not stopping. They're keying Teslas. They're planting bombs. They're planning a day of action against Musk, which means it's going to get worse. And all Musk is doing is trying to save the country. It's amazing. We'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
Armslist.com is America's firearms marketplace, unwavering in their belief of the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Armslist.com has been in the fight for our Second Amendment rights, battling the Brady campaign and their cronies since their initial assault in 2013, emerging victorious. Armslist.com is not only at the forefront of the fight for your rights, it's your go-to platform to buy, sell, and trade firearms, ammo, optics, and more locally, or tap into their nationwide network of firearms dealers. For a limited time, Armslist is extending an exclusive discount to Newsmax listeners. Head to armslist.com/Newsmax and use coupon code Newsmax to get your first month of premium membership for just 99 cents. Join the fight and come and get what they want to take right now at armslist.com/Newsmax.
All right, a reminder to pick up your Callahan coffee. It's simple. And by the way, I heard lots of reviews over the weekend. I told you I saw a lot of people, and they all tell me how good the Callahan coffee is. Proudly roasted to order in Waltham, Mass. We ensured that you're getting the freshest and highest quality coffee beans possible, delivered right to your door. Try it. Check it out. Just go to CallahanCoffee.com or click the link in our social media bio to order now.
I need you to monitor Mayor Wu, Maura Healey, Liz Warren. We need to find out. We need to see if any of them are genuinely going to speak out against this. I need to know. I am genuinely fascinated by this, how someone in elected office could be against this. And I want to hear the argument. So keep an eye on that. We're going to move to this, to the big scandal that Democrats are just eating up. They are so happy. They got something to hold on to, something to attack Trump and Trump's team. And you know what? They should, because Mike Walls is an idiot. Here's the story from CBS. Top Trump officials, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and VP J.D. Vance, discussed the details of a highly sensitive operation to bomb Houthi targets in Yemen in a group chat that inadvertently included Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. As a cabinet meeting unfolded in the White House on Monday afternoon, Goldberg published a piece detailing how he was added to the 18-person chat on the encrypted messaging app Signal earlier this month by an account sharing the name of White House National Security Advisor Mike Walls. Goldberg said an account named Pete Hegseth laid out the plans for strikes in Yemen that included precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing of the attack shortly before it took place. Now, this was not a war plan. If you read Goldberg's piece in The Atlantic, two things. One, he's a terrible writer. Two, it doesn't give the precise plan. It debates whether they should do it. J.D. Vance questions whether we should take all the responsibility. Why isn't Europe involved here? Europe uses the shipping lanes more than we do. And once again, we're bailing out Europe. That was J.D. Vance's stance. We know J.D. Vance is a big critic of our European allies. It's a long text chain on the Signal app. But here's my question. Why is a Trump cabinet member communicating with Jeffrey Goldberg at all? If you're not aware of who he is, he's the author. He's the mastermind behind all the Trump hoaxes. He's been involved in all of them. He's the one who made up the story about Trump calling veterans suckers and losers at the cemetery in France. He's the one who advanced the Find People hoax. He ran with the whole magazine that he runs is dedicated to anti-Trump propaganda garbage, as Hegseth points out, and hoaxes. He's the one who, during the last election, came up with a 4-year-old quote that Trump criticized the military and attributed to John Kelly. That's all he does. That's what they do. The magazine is owned by Steve Jobs' widow, a Trump hater. And that's what they do. They don't do journalism. This isn't a journalist. I would consider firing Mike Walls just for talking to this guy. He mistakenly included him in the chat, which means he's communicated with him in the past. Why? I would need to know. If I'm Trump, I call him in. You know this guy hates me. You know this guy has lied about me repeatedly. Why are you communicating with Jeffrey Goldberg? That's my question. Obviously, he screwed up. Obviously, Goldberg shouldn't have been on this chat. That was a mistake. That should be owned by Walls. Right now, Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe are being grilled by Democrat senators. The media spent the whole news cycle. That's all you get on MSNBC and CNN, Washington Post. That's all they're doing is this scandal. They didn't reveal the plans. They discussed something we all knew was under consideration, bombing the Houthis. They went ahead and did it. It was successful. They didn't get advance warning. Goldberg, I guess to his credit, held on to the story until after the bombing took place. But that's my problem is, why are you talking to these people? You must explain. Why would you ever talk to this guy? It's one of Trump's weaknesses. I know I've talked about it in the past, but he somehow doesn't view them all, even though he calls them enemy of the people, he still wants their respect, their admiration. He still reaches out to the New York Times. He still talks to Maggie Haberman. He still talks to Bob Woodward. At least he did in his first term and did until recently. Hopefully shuts that down. You don't want to talk to them. They are not. I like the fact that they're kicking the AP out of their seat in the White House, and they're realigning things in the press room. But there should be a hard and fast rule. Nobody in Trump's world, nobody in his cabinet, nobody on his team ever returns a call from Jeffrey Goldberg, period. Now, Walz has to do something. He has to go on with whatever, Hannity or somebody, and just say, I screwed up. It won't happen again. I made a mistake. It has nothing to do with Pete Hegseth, nothing to do with J.D. Vance. It's my mistake, and I won't do it again, and I will never, ever talk to that guy again. He has to just throw himself at the mercy of Trump, beg for forgiveness, and move on. Here's Hegseth. He knows that the guy that Walz is communicating with is a really, really bad guy. Go ahead.
Looking forward to it. One question.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic? And were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the the hoaxes of Russia, 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 or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details?
It's true. The mission was not compromised. It was a success. Nobody got hurt except Houthis on the ground in Yemen, and it was success. We set out to do it and did it. So good for him. The leak, the including of Jeffrey Goldberg is a problem, but there's only one guy to blame. It's not Hexet's fault. It's not Tulsi or J.D. Vance's fault. It's Mike Walls, who's quickly become a problem for Donald Trump, just like Pam Bondi, a problem. Pam Bondi, once again, on TV, once again, talking to Sean Hannity. She's now done about 900 interviews on Fox News and done and arrested nobody, promising to arrest people, promising accountability, promising to take action. All she does is interviews. I mean, again, it's early. It's 2 months in. She could eventually start doing her job, but she's the one who promised 2 weeks ago that there were sick and disgusting details in the Epstein files, and we were all going to see them the next day. We never saw them. We're still waiting. Pam, I don't understand how she goes on with any and does any TV interview without first being asked, where are the Epstein files? You promised. You said they were sick. They were disgusting. When do we get to see them? And why have we not seen them yet? She's never going to recover unless we see the files, unless they are as disturbing as she said they would be. She will never recover. But she's out there doing interviews, and she's talking about the attacks on Tesla, which are escalating. And they're it's just so maddening to see, just infuriating to see these people attacking a private company, a very successful private company, because they're mad that Musk is exposing corruption. Well, Musk isn't stopping. Musk is continuing to expose the criminals who are embedded in our federal government for decades. And this is pissing off Democrats. I mean, it's pissing off, the rabble that supports Democrats. They're continuing to key Teslas and throw things at Teslas, and now they're planting bombs at a Tesla dealership. I don't know. This sounds like it could get really bad. Here's from ABC. Multiple incendiary devices were found at a Tesla dealership in Austin, Texas, Monday. According to the Austin police, officers located suspicious devices after responding to a Tesla dealership. Just after 8 a.m., called Austin police bomb squad to investigate. The devices were determined to be incendiary and taken into police custody without incident. So they're trying to bomb a car dealership. Now, what if they succeeded? What if this killed sales guys and managers and mechanics and customers? Then what? Then would Jasmine Crockett continue to say, all I want for my birthday is for someone to take down Elon Musk? It's amazing. We hear about violent rhetoric all the time from the media, from the left, from Democrats. Does it get more violent than saying, I want to take down Elon Musk, and your people, your foot soldiers, respond by planting bombs? What's next? Real bombs that actually work? Bombs that actually go off? Someone is going to die. Someone is going to die because Democrats and the these soulless zombies who follow them, who don't even know what they're upset about. They just know Musk is with Trump. He's Trump's guy. So I hate Trump. So I must hate Musk. I must hate Tesla, a great American car company. And they're acting out, and they're going to continue to act out. This is how it began in the summer of love after George Floyd OD'd, and it feels like it's accelerating on a similar path. And Democrats aren't stopping. They're not slowing down. They're saying Musk must be stopped. Musk must be taken down. And how do their supporters respond? With vandalism, with Molotov cocktails, with bombs, with incendiary devices. It's not going to get better. Before we get to Jasmine Crockett, let's just review, what Musk is doing, what the whole Trump team is doing. They're not just this exposing waste. That's putting it mildly, exposing waste. We all know there's waste in the federal government. They're exposing scandals. They're exposing theft. Again, where are you, Pam Bondi? We've been hearing for weeks now, more than a month, about schemes and scams to defraud the federal government out of billions of dollars. These weren't well-intentioned programs, to spread transgenderism to third world, or put on a Sesame Street show in Iraq. That's not what this was about. This was about stealing from taxpayers, stealing from the U.S. Treasury. That's what they were doing. They were not, trying to change hearts and minds in foreign lands. They were ripping off taxpayers. We all know it. Stopping these programs, that's not good enough. There needs to be arrests, prosecutions. That's the only way this ends. So there was a cabinet meeting yesterday, another cabinet meeting. I believe that's the third. That's like Biden had like one a year, and his last one was chaired by his wife. But Trump has his cabinet, and he tells them, "What are you doing?" Asks them, "What are you doing? Explain to us." And they just one after another go after show all the fraud, all the crime that they're exposing. Yesterday, Lee Zeldin, who's doing a great job at the EPA, explained just how much people in the last administration were stealing. He also talks about the scam to give Stacey Abrams $2 billion, not million, billion. She created one of these, outfits to fight climate change, completely made up. It has nothing to do with climate change. They were supposed to buy appliances for poor families. They had $100 in the bank in 2023. In 2024, Joe Biden gave her $2 billion. I don't know. That sounds criminal to me. I want to see her arrested for attempting to steal $2 billion from the taxpayers. Here's Zeldin just casually explaining how he's found all this fraud, all these financial crimes in this alleged department to protect our environment. Go ahead, play it.
Canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts, $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to. They received only $100 in 2023. And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion. So $20 billion went to just 8 NGOs, and they're all pass-throughs. And then they were giving it to other entities. Many of them were pass-throughs. And what you have is all these extra middlemen, they're taking their cut, and the taxpayer ends up getting screwed. They're losing out on all this hard-earned money. They can't afford to have the federal government waste. The partnership with Doge and Elon Musk has been incredible at EPA. Their team is very talented. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And of course, this mandate from President Trump to make sure that we identify every last penny, whether we're saving $50,000, $5 million, or $22 billion. We will not rest until every last penny is saved. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to do this for the American public.
$22 billion. and they were promising to change the weather. I'm sorry. That's just a scam. That's all it is. And canceling it is wonderful. Great first step. But how can you say they were trying to steal $20 billion and nobody's going to get arrested? Nobody's, no, let's not forget. Grandmothers who walked through the Capitol went to prison. People who sang hymns outside abortion clinics went to prison. But Stacey Abrams is not going to go to prison? Please, just tell me there's going to be charges. It gets even better. Brooke Rollins is the agricultural secretary, Department of Ag, and she's good. She's very animated, very outgoing, and she talks. They're not quite as lucrative, the scams they were running out of her department under the Biden administration, but they're just as ridiculous. These aren't real. They're made up ways to steal taxpayer money. Listen to Brooke Rollins.
Just add to that, and thank you. We just had a wonderful cabinet meeting, all aligned on certainly the effort to realign the government. But even at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we've canceled a $300,000 contract educating on food justice for queer and transgender farmers in San Francisco. A similar contract we canceled in New York, again, educating transgender and queer farmers on food justice and food equality. I'm not even sure what that means, but apparently the last administration wanted to put our taxpayer dollars towards that. We canceled a $600,000 contract out of Louisiana that was studying the menstrual cycles of transgender men, a $600,000 contract. We canceled another contract out of a university in the middle of the country that focused on getting more diversity, equity, and inclusion into our pest management industry. Again, these are nonsensical. It makes zero sense to use taxpayer dollars to fund these. I know these are just a few examples of the hundreds and hundreds that we have found.
Well, what was that again? To study the menstrual cycles of transgender men?
Transgender male farmers or something. I don't know.
Now, it's kind of like Tom Homan. Why can't everybody support this? Why can someone explain it to me again? Run that by me again. Why does this upset Democrats? Why are people bombing Tesla dealerships and keying Teslas? Because Musk is leading the effort to expose this stuff. Why? It's just incredible. That so you're upset that we're not going to spend $600,000 for trans and queer farmers on food justice? Again, I'll say it every day. I've been waiting my whole life for this. We've known this kind of corruption existed. It existed under Republicans and Democrats. No one ever did anything about it. Finally, we're seeing it. They're showing it. Trump learned in his last term, he's not messing around anymore. He's going to expose this, and his people are on board. And we're supposed to think that it's hurting, starving children. That's what Jessica Tarloff said on Fox News on the 5 yesterday. They're hurting starving. They're taking food from starving children. That's what Doge is doing. That's what the Trump cabinet is doing. Taking food from starving children. All right, you know what? Let's jump ahead to the Kennedy Center employee. We keep hearing about, there's a disabled veteran who's been at the VA for 20 years and he's laid off and he has a wife, he has children. That might happen, and then they'll fix it if the guy was mistakenly let go. But at the same time, I'm going to say 99% of the people let go should be let go. The taxpayers shouldn't be paying for empty buildings of people that don't even go to work, paying for the staff at the Kennedy Center in D.C. Well, this guy made a video after Trump took over the Kennedy Center and put Rick Grinnell in charge and said they're not going to be this woke place anymore in D.C. So this guy was a Kennedy Center employee, and he made a video attacking Trump and Trump's guys. And then, of course, he was fired. But the people attacking Musk and Doge, they wanted this guy to remain on the public payroll. We were supposed to continue to pay this psycho. Here he is. And if you're just listening, he's naked. He posted a video ripping Trump buck naked. Played it.
In this episode, I'm going to talk about whether or not I should quit. I'm going to ask, does staying make me a collaborator or somehow complicit in a hostile government takeover that's systematically targeting the livelihood and liberty of poor people, queer people, black, brown people, people of color, immigrants, Muslims, victims in war-torn countries, ethnic cleansing women, and gosh, when I put it that way, it seems obvious. Fuck Donald Trump and the Kennedy sentence. Now, a few weeks ago, Vice President and confirmed rapist Donald Trump decided to fire a bunch of people from the Kennedy Center's leadership team and install himself as head of the board, which was surprising because he seemed so busy draining dams, damning alliances, siding with killers, endorsing genocide, erasing trans and queer people from history, deporting people who have every right to live in a land of immigrants, by the way, a stolen land, and doing everything in his goddamn power to seem like a big tough man, while Nazi wannabe Musk systematically erodes the government while selling Cybertrucks to the next generation of American war criminals. But I digress. Daddy Donald was backing SARS, baby, and rather than doing a single thing to end war, hunger, unemployment, or do anything that doesn't take money from the poor majority and redirect it to the billionaire minority, rather than doing any of that, this man decided to take over a glorified community theater because the artists that attend the venue regularly make fun of him, criticize him, and call him a lying villain. Because he's a villainous liar who is laughably self-serving.
He was fired. Spoiler alert.
Oh, he's short. He was fired.
I guess I'll give him credit for going out, guns blazing, going out,
Think of the views we would get if you did the show like this tomorrow.
I can't sit like that. He's sitting Indian style, and there's a little thing covering up his manhood. But this is who was on the public payroll. This is who was receiving a generous salary to work at the Kennedy Center. And he's upset that Trump obviously Trump took over. He's the president. And he was fired. And that's got people. That's why people are keying Teslas, because that psycho, that absolute who belongs in a rubber room somewhere, was working at the Kennedy Center. You think he put in a good, honest day's work? Here we go, more Teslas being keyed. I don't know at what point do these morons understand that Teslas have really advanced technology, including many, many cameras. You're on candid camera, guy. Here's another guy keying a Tesla. Is this the one in New Hampshire?
Yeah, and then the cops find him, and they're like,
"It's amazing." He got arrested. The owner said she pulled in there with her Cybertruck, and within an hour, up in New Hampshire, a guy keys the Tesla on camera. She identified him. She reported him. He got arrested. She posted his bio, showing where he works. And I assume any minute now he'll be fired. So they risk everything. They risk their job, their livelihood, to put a little scratch in a Tesla because Doge and Musk and Trump want to fire the naked guy, or Doge and Musk want to stop paying for food justice programs for queer farmers. And this guy put it up there so I could see. We need to identify him. His name is Jim Pellis. He's from Massachusetts. Big shocker. He worked at Armor Code Inc. He went to Bentley. Look at him. He thinks he's a respected, executive at this company. Hopefully, by the end of today, he'll be fired. Hopefully, he'll be charged with a felony. Maybe he'll go to jail. It's New Hampshire. Maybe he'll pay a big fine just for keying a car. Did it make you feel good, Jim? Did that make you feel? Did you walk away saying, "I got him, I showed him"? And Musk is, do you think you hurt Elon Musk somehow? You think you upset him? because you scratched, took a key and put a scratch in some innocent person's car? You psycho. We are dealing with the biggest psychos, including elected representatives such as Jasmine Crockett. I pray, I've added it to my nightly prayers. Please, God, let Jasmine Crockett run for president. Let her be on the debate stage in 2028, running against, Gavin Newsom and AOC and Kamala Harris. We need this freaking lunatic to remain front row center. We need her to continue to do what she's been doing, going on in front of every camera and showing just what kind of lunatics the Democrats are sending to Congress. She begged the other day for someone to take down Elon on her birthday, March 29th. And I assume at some point, don't like leaders in Congress, doesn't Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries saying, Jasmine, could you just tone it down? Tone it down. You're out of control. I don't think she's listening. Here she is yesterday saying that someone has to knock out Ted Cruz. Maybe that means she'll run for Senate, which would be good. I want her running for everything. Don't go away, Jasmine. Keep going. Keep showing everyone just how unhinged the Democrats have become. Here she is.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. I think, and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder. But it's Ted Cruz. I mean, this dude has to be knocked over the head, hard, right? There is no niceties with him, at all. You go clean off on him, right?
He needs to be knocked over the head. Again, I never want to hear another word from Democrats, from Chris Hayes and Jake Tapper and Georgie Stephanopoulos about violent rhetoric. That's them. They are. They're the party of violence right now. And the leaders of the party, that's Jasmine Crockett, that's Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters, I mean, even if she were 40 years old, would just be an absolute lunatic and a moron. She's 86. She's out there screaming. At some point, doesn't that wig have to fly off when she goes on one of these rants?
Wig's gonna fly off, or the teeth gotta fall out.
Maxine Waters upset at Trump and Holman for rounding up illegal alien criminals. She has another idea. She has an immigrant she wants to deport. Listen to Maxine.
If he wants to start looking so closely to find those who were born here and their parents were undocumented, maybe he ought to first look at Melania. We don't know whether or not her parents were documented. And maybe we'd better just take a look.
I hate her.
And elect a congresswoman, someone who gets elected every 2 years. That's who Democrats are sending to D.C. Maxine Waters and Jasmine Crockett and AOC and Ayanna Pressley. Just absolute crazy people. That's who we're dealing with. They're upset at it is, I've never felt better about being on the right side. I can't believe people look at that, listen to that, and say, yep, that's my party. That's my guy, my girl. That's my girl. I'm all in on Jasmine. She's a fighter. She's going to knock out Ted Cruz. We could go all day. I really could. I could go all day on these people. We could talk about this unhinged, these people who are consumed with Trump and Musk derangement. But we'll wait a day. We'll wait a day, and one of these bombs will go off. Someone will get shot. Someone will get killed because Musk wants to make the government more efficient. I got you. Good plan. But we will leave it for today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens with Mike Walls. I think he's going to survive, but as Trump said, he better learn his lesson. He better remove Jeffrey Goldberg from his contacts. And he better stop sneaking around talking to these deep state snakes like the alleged editor. Not an editor. He's not a journalist. He's a Democrat operative with a press pass, and you should never, ever, ever be speaking to him, Mike Walls, you idiot. But we will leave it there for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone.